Hello and welcome to Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I'm Gareth. Oh man, the weather has just not been cooperative recently when it comes to trying to get outside and do outdoor stuff and make videos, that sort of thing. I've just been trying over and over to do an overnight camp out on one of the weekends where I'm not on call, and I've just not been able to do it. This weekend the weather was going to be really crummy on Friday night and then Saturday. But today the wind has calmed down quite a bit, and the sun's out. It kind of feels like spring. You know, it's early March. It's meteorological spring, although the official start of spring isn't for another week or two. And even though the conditions have improved, I still couldn't get out to where I planned on doing this video. So I just found some other spot that I'm just going to make work. It's not really the most out of the way wildernessy type spot by any means, but it's better than sitting at home, so that's what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do today is just cook a little lunch. Rue of Prepared Camping suggested that I come out and do this Show Us Your Noodle challenge that Beat Around the Bushcraft Caywood started. I was planning on doing this quite a few weeks ago, but just, you know, with the weather the way it was, it just never happened. So I'm going to do that today, cook up some a noodly lunch and enjoy that. Just enjoy being outside. It's actually, I think the temperature is maybe in the upper 30s right now, but with the sun shining, it feels pretty warm. And I brought out one of my little toys to cook the noodles. I'm not going to have a campfire today, but I wanted to use one of my stoves for my collection. To cook my noodles, I'm going to use my Optimus 8R stove. It is a white gas stove made in Sweden. This thing, I'm not exactly sure how old this stove is, but I think it's probably older than I am. Well, that's Optimus 8R. It's a, like I said, a white gas stove. It comes just this nice little box design case when it's closed. Just open that up, and the burner and gas tank slide out. In a lot of ways, the stove is pretty similar to the Svea 123. I have a couple of those too. I love these old Swedish white gas stoves that they're very simple, so there's not a whole lot that can break on them. The gas tank, you just fill it up with white gas. I filled it yesterday. Make sure that's tight, and there's no pump on this. And how this stove works and how it pressurizes the fuel tank is it works on a positive feedback principle, whereas the fuel tank heats up, it pressurizes the air in there, and that's what feeds the gas to the stove. It uses the burner cup when it heats up to vaporize the fuel. The valve's controlled with this little key. You have to prime these stoves to get them to light, especially due to the fact that the fuel has no pressure in there right now, the fuel tank. Probably the easiest way, I think, is just to put some alcohol in there, just some denatured alcohol, meths, whatever you call them, where you live. So just let that run down in there. Now there's a little cup down there that fuel, that alcohol can sit in there, and I'll light that to get this stove going. Just use one of these little MRE matchbooks. It's burning, you can't see it though. Burning that alcohol in there serves two purposes. For one thing, it provides some heat to pressurize the fuel so the fuel can start coming out. And secondly, it also helps heat up that burner cup, so when we do turn the gas on, it'll vaporize and burn. Just let that burn down a little bit here. Got the burned up all the alcohol down there, so now we have the stove going itself. And it does take a little while for the stove to heat up and really start putting out its maximum amount of heat. It's basically on full blast right now, and there's not a whole lot of flame there yet. Before I cook my noodles, I'm going to heat up some water for tea. Windscreen around the stove because, well, with the wind blowing through here, it helps the stove burn a little bit better and doesn't waste as much heat. But you got to be really careful with using a windscreen with these sorts of stoves because it encloses the fuel tank in there, and it could lead to the fuel tank overpressurizing, which you don't want. So yeah, it's probably better not to use a windscreen at all, but if you do, just be really, really, really careful. I love the way these stoves sound when they burn. Got our water boiling. Let's get the 5 tea bags, that ought to do it. Set that off to the side while it brews. Today I'm going to cook my noodles in my German mess kit, German style. I don't know if it's German or maybe Polish or something, but I haven't used this for a while. Of course, I have all sorts of stuff packed in there. It's one of the nice things about these mess kits. You know, it has that little cup/bowl thingy at the top that you can put stuff in and pack all sorts of good stuff. There have some buckwheat in there, some tea, some hot cocoa. Let's take all that stuff out and put it to the side. For my noodles today, I brought some of these Korean type ramen noodles. They're They're made in the U.S., of course, but it's kimchi flavor. Never had these before. I figured I'd give them a shot. Usually I just get the like cheapo American type ones. It says it needs about 50 milliliters of water, so I think this holds, well, can't remember. I think it's 1.5 liters. I think I'll go with that. Might be a little bit too much water, but I'm going to add some buckwheat to this also, just for the heck of it. So, just need to get the stove lit again. We'll see here that the tank's still warm, so it has some pressure, so it's bleeding out a little bit of white gas there, so we might just be able to get the this thing primed with that alone. Should work just fine. Once that burner cap gets hot enough, it vaporizes the fuel. It's far better than it is right now. Put this pot on there. Yeah, I have to say that these mess kits probably aren't designed to really be the most efficient thing to heat up over a little stove like this, but it works. I say that just because they're kind of a fairly flat oval. Now, last night I watched, well, I guess part of the movie Stalingrad. It's a German movie about the Battle of Stalingrad. And I noticed, of course, that the German troops were running around with these mess kits strapped to their backs. And they were eating out of them and stuff like that. Feels nice sitting out in the sun. I always enjoy the times when sitting in the sitting in the sun feels pleasurable. Where you're just a little cool, and the sun provides some really welcome warmth. Because most of the time in the summer, that's not the case at all for me anyway. I usually feel that the sun is oppressive usually, Just, you know, it's hot outside to begin with, and then the sun's shining on you just as, you know, makes it even worse. But yeah, in the springtime and in the fall and the winter, and also sometimes in the mountains in the middle of the summer when it's kind of cool. You know, just having that sun shining on you just feels really great. Same goes for riding my bike out on the country roads. Sometimes, you know, I get an early start in the morning, and you know, it's cool, and you're heading on a road in a certain direction. You kind of get used to that sun warming up that side of you, and then you like turn onto a different road and you're going a different direction, and all of a sudden you lose that heat on your side, or whichever side it was, and then you realize how much that was actually warming you up. I'm gonna add some chicken breast to my noodles. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. These stoves don't really have the best flame control to them. It's mostly a on-off sort of thing, but I usually break my noodles up. Makes them easier to eat with a spoon. All the way from Russia, I have some buckwheat. Apparently we grow quite a bit of this stuff in the United States, but sure wouldn't be able to tell by how much of it we eat over here. This stuff I bought off of Amazon, and it's actually from Russia. Dried kimchi or something. MSG seasoning packet. done to me. Well, there's my Show Us Your Noodle Challenge noodles. Some kimchi ramen noodles with some chicken breast added in there and a little buckwheat. Smells really good. It's a pretty hearty meal. Yep, that's some noodly goodness. Still pretty hot. I think a little kick wouldn't hurt this. Have some Texas Pete to throw on there. There you go. Add a little tangy zip. Not a Miracle Whip. That's very good. Well, that's my Show Us Your Noodle challenge. I'm not really sure. I guess I assume that in this challenge that usually tag some people. So, just for the heck of it, I'm going to tag Eric at 1972 Woodsman. I'm also going to tag SurvivorMetalMan. And my third tag will be Bjorn, Andreas, Bull-Hansen. I know all three of those guys like to get out and cook up some food out in the wild, so hopefully I might feel like cooking up some noodles and make a little video of it. But check out their channels, they got some great videos. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep on eating my noodles here, and hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon to get notifications if you want to see my upcoming videos. Share it if you know somebody that might be interested in the video. And this is Gareth with Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I'll see you next time.